Today's video will cover three subjects: moving a T-post, an update on the blueberry crop, and some video of guard dog Odin with the sheep. We also added in a tour of Joy's flower garden, so 4 subjects. Let's get started with moving a T-post. I need to move this T-post. I want it to be more like this one, in line with the fence. This is in about 6 inches, so I need to pull it out, move it in more so when this gate closes, it's snug against this post like this on this other side. So if you've never seen a T-post move, I mean, they're comparatively easy unless they're really bound into the ground, but with this handy jack type of tool, it can bring it up, take the old one out, all right, so that went fairly well. Knock off some of the dirt. And then we've got this T-post pounder. So I think we want to put it about right there. So I put this up on top of the T-post. All right, I think that's good. What I call a T-post pounder is essentially a sledgehammer on a pipe with handles. The top 6 inches or so of the pipe is solid metal to give it the necessary weight to drive the T-post in. All right, so there's one T-post. Okay, so there's one T-post moved. Doing a one isn't too bad. Doing a whole fence line is a different story. Speaking of that, we have done whole fence lines. In fact, quite a few whole fence lines. And for those, I usually enlist the aid of my son, Jeffrey. So that's going to be there. All right, so that hog panel will close up against that T-post, and then it's going to hinge on the other side here. So it'll just swing open toward me, and we'll run our tractors through here instead of running them through there where we used to do it. But we got a water tub there now. I'll leave this open for right now because Whitey's out here huffing away. It was a hot day, and now on to blueberries. I'm out picking blueberries. This is just the start of the harvest, but it looks like it's going to be a bumper crop. Here's Thor in the shade of the blueberries, of course. Notice the pinkness of the berries. This type of blueberry is called a rabbiteye blueberry because as it ripens from green to blue, it goes through a pink stage. The rabbiteye blueberry grows predominantly here in the southeast, whereas the high bush and low bush types of blueberries grow more in the north and northeast. The rabbiteye blueberry will grow quite tall if left unpruned. Heights of 10 to 15 feet would not be uncommon, but that height is difficult for picking, so every few years I prune out the tall old wood. This particular variety of rabbiteye blueberry is called Premier. It is one of our favorites. We were worried about the late frost we had, and I'm sure the sprinklers Jeffrey set up, as shown in a previous video, helped protect the crop. There are some early berries that are already ripe that I am picking now. Over the next week or so, all these pink berries will be turning blue and be ready for picking. And now on to Odin, sheep, and cattle egrets. We often see cattle egrets hanging around with the sheep. Sometimes the egrets even ride around on the sheep's back. I was out checking on the sheep after feeding Odin one morning and was able to catch this one example. They usually fly away before I can get close enough to get video. I also caught a really nice example of exemplary guard dog behavior. Here is Odin walking up to the flock of sheep from the gate where I had fed him earlier. He goes in with the sheep and walks around a bit. It seems like he is checking them out to make sure that everything is okay. It is my understanding that the way many of his shepherds now utilize sheep guardian dogs is different from the way the dogs were bred many generations ago. In early times, shepherds would live close to their flocks and the dogs would live together with the sheep and the humans. There was a constant close association between the dogs, the sheep, and the humans. Nowadays, in many cases, the dogs only see their humans once or twice a day at feeding time. For the rest of the time, the dogs are on their own protecting the sheep. Some dogs do well with this, some do not. When we raise a puppy, from the outset, we try to keep him with sheep so he can identify with the sheep and want to stay with the sheep instead of roaming around. However, we also need him to be well socialized with humans. It is a delicate balance. Now, after checking out the sheep, Odin goes off to a nearby tree to settle in for the day. The dogs are most active during the night when there is the greatest threat from coyotes. During the day, they will pick a semi-protected spot near where the sheep are grazing, where they can keep an eye on things and take occasional naps. With the sheep and Odin settled in, we are now going to turn to Joy's flower garden. I'm going to try again with Joy's garden. A lot of color right now. Wanted to show that. I tried this the other day. There were storms threatening, and Whitey started following me in and digging around immediately. Oh, no, no. Come on, Whitey. Come here. Come on. We've got water manifold here. Joy has irrigation set up, sprinklers around the different areas. Now Joy is going to tell you about her flower garden.
So first of all, this is a very South Mississippi garden, and that means that in the winter there aren't very many cooling hours. So many of the perennials like Dutch iris and things that would grow really well further north of us do not perform at all here and do not bloom. Although you'll see a few Dutch iris running through here occasionally that I keep in just for interest of the foliage, but they never bloom. So anyway, so here you can see some new salvia that I just planted, and my beautiful Superman red and yellow daylilies to the right there that just went out of the frame. And here comes some more daylilies. That's white ibis. It's really a performer. Yes. And behind that is some white ruella that is very invasive, but I keep my shovel going, keeping it back. And here come some of my lilies, and they are my favorites. My pink lilies. And some, here comes some gladiolus. Those are more the species type, and they can really take over your garden, and that's why I like them. Yes. There's some red zinnia I just planted in, and they're already blooming. And some sort of pale yellow 4 o'clocks there that Rob caught this morning with them still in bloom. And okay, here comes some tall verbinia. They reseed themselves around the garden, so once I planted some seed and got them started, they've come back for like 6 years now. Really excellent. Here comes some rudbeckia. More rudbeckia. Yep. Yep. This is my favorite time in the garden, the favorite time of the year in the garden, because I get enough blooms that it looks like it looks very beautiful. Yeah. Said yeah too many times, but whatever. So this is my small garden near the house, and right in the front here you can see it's almost invasive. To the left is this really tall yellow salvia that blooms in the late fall. I mean, here it blooms like in October, but it's really spectacular. It's given to me by a friend. And around the corner here, these daylilies in this container have been in this container for about 5 years. So if you don't have anywhere else to plant your daylilies, put them in the container. There's some dirt in that container. There are no drain holes. And when it rains, which we just had a lot of rain, the tub fills up with water. The daylilies don't care. In fact, I think they enjoy it. And they do beautifully. Here's some more of my lilies that came back this year. Oh my goodness. This one is spectacular. Yes, loving it. Here's one of my very, very old traditional daylilies that is a little petered out now, but it was gorgeous also. This is a striped crinum lily. It was sold as crinum alpha, and all its bloom stems they come up sort of all together, and then they all bloom overnight at one time. So all those buds are finished now. They will close up by the afternoon and they will be done, but it's spectacular. Yep, and here's some self-seeded Texas salvia. They occur all through my gardens, and they just keep themselves going. And you can see the little bee there right now. This is the front of my house garden, and you can see that some white ginger there on the right-hand side. Yep, and that's a nice blood-good maple there. Yep, and some more of those small gladiolas. They're almost bloomed out, but they've been blooming for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And some more of the salvia. And a mound of lantana there, just coming into bloom.
And coming in on the porch here, we've got the fence to keep the dogs out, and here we have the dog area. Under these bushes, it's nice and cool, and we water every once in a while when it gets damp. So they like to dig out holes, and so this area has been dedicated to the dogs. The only downside of their digging, well, expose the plant roots a little bit, but They dig dirt out. Hero. And here's Thor. Whitey's here too. But they dig dirt out, and it goes up on up. There's there. Whitey, how did you know I was talking about this? There, she's digging a hole to lay in, and scratching dirt up onto the sidewalk here, onto the porch here. So I just sweep that off every once in a while, and this gives a area for the dogs to rest in. Making a nice pad for herself to lay in. Yeah, I have to turn around several times and then she can sit down. All right. And I have a broom right handy here, so it's no big deal to sweep the dirt off the porch. And on we go. Thanks for watching Longleaf Sheep Hill Ranch.